Evaluating Brigs' speech will be John McCobb. Please welcome John.
Christine knows that well as Cartoon World. In my mind. Fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests, new members to be, and especially Brig. Brig, as always, you delivered a solid speech tonight. The speech objectives, Christine covered them, but the main emphasis in the material for the evaluator returns again and again to effectiveness as the emphasis, all the way from the selection of the topic to the delivery of it, to doing so without notes, and so forth. And also in being able to engage the audience throughout, really using the demonstration to keep people involved so that nobody in the audience is thinking, I used to be a banker, but I lost interest. Tonight I'm going to give a few items that I absolutely loved about Briggs' speech, and then a couple more extensions of it to possibly expand the effectiveness of it. Going right into it, your selection of the USS Constitution as a ship, as a model, is fantastic. We can all conceptualize it and then see it. That was fine. Your opening was outstanding. You start with a box and you end up with the USS Constitution, clean and incisive. It was beautiful. As well, you flowed directly into a great historical narrative that allowed the audience to not only see the motivation to have a U.S. Navy to protect the merchant fleet, but also to move then into the timeline of the, yes, cheers, yes, a member of our merchant fleet. The timeline throughout the development of the Navy, and then focusing on the history, glorious as it is, of the USS Constitution. And that flowed beautifully into the focuses of the naval architect who designed it. And we're going to go back into that a little bit. You did beautifully at delivering without notes, and when you were demonstrating, now I'm going to flip back to demonstrating the design, the three design motives of the naval architect, speed or strength, and you demonstrated or indicated the thickness of the hull of 2 feet, and then the speed with the 3 masts, and also the heavy armament of the 44 guns of it. I thought that was fantastic. Some of the items I came up with to possibly extend the effectiveness and transform some of the latency into real effectiveness, greater effectiveness, is, one, you have the motivation for the formation of a Navy. So, before the 1794 authorization, no Navy. Afterward, Navy. Simple things, just silly things, but sometimes effective. Also, the 2012 200th anniversary of the War of 1812, it might have been good to also have a photo of that reenactment, maybe. And then we kind of go a little bit, or I go a little bit overboard into Cartoon World here. Christine will attest. You could say, oh, it's old Ironsides, 2 feet thick, hit it with a ball of paper or something. You see, it just bounces off. Or you see all of the armaments here. Boom, boom, you know, or actually, pew, pew, shrinking it to scale. Once again, this is how my head goes. But one other thing that I thought would be also good is you referred to the U.S. Constitution as the core spirit, you know, to drive the naming of the ship and the spirit of it. You could. I was thinking at first, well, that's a little distracting. You can leave that out. But then I thought, well, wait a minute. That'll be beautiful to wrap it up. Come back to that and say something like, because of the decision, this momentous decision in 1794 to protect the merchant fleet, and because of the great design features of this, the merchant fleet and its owners were not driven bankrupt. Our nation was not then vulnerable, and we get to celebrate today, so many years later, our independence and our freedom and autonomy, something like that. Like I said, as always, a very solid speech, great, and you hit it with fantastic content, wonderful delivery, and I hope that I've given a couple ideas that might be good in extending it even further. Madam General.